First of all, good morning. And my name is Dr. Rod Edmond. I'm an attorney here. I represent Ms. Akins-Wells here, Latresa Akins-Wells, and also Mr. Dabouze, Antoine. They're both sitting city council members in Forest Park. We are not here feeling good about the situation. It's a horrible situation. Back in October of 2019, both of these city council people were surprisingly called in for an unscheduled meeting with the city manager of Forest Park as well as the city attorney. They were completely stunned and shocked when they found out that the former police chief at Forest Park, Dwayne Hobbs, had set up almost like a task force for the prior 4 years to survey, spy, and really do a stealth surveillance of these two African-American city council people. For most of the 4 years that they were under surveillance, they were the only two African-American city council people. And they were critical of the policies of the police department and specifically of Police Chief Hobbs. These surveillances included posting videos on telephone poles outside of their homes.
Yes, sir.
It included police officers routinely rummaging through garbage, looking for incriminating information and evidence, and again, without any probable cause whatsoever. We're here to announce this morning that we are basically sending via certified mail as required by Georgia law the ante litem notice to the police department of Forest Park and the city of Forest Park, basically putting them on notice of my client's intention to basically hold them accountable for any damages and harm that they have suffered as a result of this tremendous insult. That's why we're here, and I'm going to open things up for questions from my clients. Oh, even before that, I want to introduce the people that are here also. And if you could go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Rebecca Deering. I'm a part of the NAACP Clayton branch.
My name is Marie Myers, and I am the Legal Redress Chair for the Clayton County NAACP.
And I am Cheryl Cinnamon Baldwin, President of the Clayton County NAACP.
I'm Keith Lindsay, partner, Edmund Lindsay and Atkins LLP.
All right, so obviously this is could easily devolve into a tremendous civil rights matter in Clayton County, particularly in the city of Forest Park, and as a result, NAACP of Clayton County has taken a very, very keen interest in this matter. Again, the idea of a police department using taxpayer resources to basically target a vengeful campaign against political adversaries, that is just abominable. It is shameful. And those are the allegations. That's the information that they got. Currently, there's a GBI investigation going on to basically ferret out the specifics of that. And the claim that we filed ultimately is going to expand and be dictated by the substance of this investigation, the GBI investigation, as well as information that was told to my clients. So we're going to open things up for questions.
Dr. Edmond, would this be a suit, I guess, in state court, or will it go to federal court? How will that be handled?
Again, it could be either one. And again, if there are federal issues that have to be brought in federal court, it'll be federal court. Obviously, I'm a trial lawyer. We'd like to keep it in state court if possible. But we're going to let the evidence dictate where we wind up bringing this suit.
Rod, how did this finally, I understand there was a meeting, why did this finally come out in October 2019?
It's my understanding that Police Chief Hobbs had gotten into some trouble on other issues, and I can't get into the specifics, but I believe they had something to do with financial issues. And it's my understanding that a lot of the police officers who were routinely tasked to do these dirty deeds, they took umbrage and issue with it, and they basically blew the whistle. That's my understanding. I'm going to let Councilwoman Akins-Wells talk specifically about what went down when they were called in for the meeting. I'm going to let Mr. Dabouze do the same thing.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
We had a meeting on, I think it was that Monday. We got a call, I got a call from the city attorney telling us that he wanted to meet with us
before the actual meeting, just me and Councilman Antoine. And when we got there, he was telling us about the investigation that was going on and some things that happened involving us. And I'm like, you know, well, what happened? We found out that you all were being watched for 3 or more years. That they had cameras outside of you all's homes. They were going through you all's trash, following you around. And I'm like, why? You know, why? And that was all he told us. So that's how we were informed, and basically said that some of the officers that knew about it and that were involved are the ones that spoke up about it.
What did you think about that?
It hurt me more than anything.
Violated.
Because for one, this is where I grew up. You know, I went to elementary, middle, and high school here, and I'm serving the people here, and I'm fighting against this type of thing. I knew some things were going on in our department, and I was trying to put my hands on them, and I feel like maybe that's why it was happening to me, but it hurt me. You know, this is where I grew up. This is where I'm raising my kids. This is where I went to school. So to know that I'm out here fighting for the people to prevent this from happening to them, and it's happening to me, then it hurts.
So you think you stepped on some toes?
Oh yeah.
Mr. Dabouze, how do you feel as a result of this?
I feel very, very sad. My heart's broken. Me personally, I believe in people. I believe the best in people. I believe people have the best. But after what was done to me, it just got me wiser. But I'm broken because the other half of it is, what if they were successful on doing what they were doing? So you have an innocent man in a position that he has no business in. And for me, why it also hurts me, if they could do this to elected officials, what are they doing to regular people, taxpayers?
I think some of the allegations were they thought that you all were involved in drug activity, or that you didn't live there and were involved in voter fraud.
Let me answer that. I mean, the bottom line, specious allegations. I mean, you think about people just throwing crap on the wall and seeing what sticks. There was no probable cause for any of that. And again, they were vocal critics of the police department and the police chief. They raised their criticisms in the proper form, which is the city council meetings. And as a result of that, the allegations and what they were told was that the police chief and the police department took the full weight of all the taxpayer resources and tried to basically besmirch their good names by digging up dirt on them. That's what happened.
Have you been able to find out, Rod, because normally when something like this happens, when the police department is involved, when administrative or with the executive branch here, they should be coordinating that with the city manager. Do you know if that happened?
We do not know. We don't know. All we know is that my clients were called in for a meeting. At some point, obviously, the administrators for the city of Forest Park realized that they had to come clean. They had to basically tell the truth, and they did that back in October. And they had the formal meeting. They basically laid it all out, and that's the extent of our knowledge of the administrators' involvement in it.
And what does it say, Rod, that in 3.5 years, according to the councilwoman, they found nothing?
I mean, there was nothing in the first place. What it means, again, the offensive thing about this town is that they're using the police chief was using taxpayer resources to target political adversaries. We have this kind of stuff happening up in Washington, D.C.
Yes, sir.
Now it's in Forest Park. I mean, really?
So you all are asking for $1 million from the city and the police department?
No. What we did in the analytum notice, we put them on notice. When we said asking for it, the way the law works is that there is a policy limit or a policy that is involved for things like this. We don't know specifically what that policy is. The Georgia law is that to the extent that municipalities or counties have insurance to cover these types of wrongs, then that money is available to basically pay damages. So the $1 million that we put in there, that's with the assumption. We were told that there's a $1 million policy. So basically, we put that in there.
So that number could grow?
It could go down also. I mean, that just, again, this is the what's most important about this, because we don't, in all honesty, we don't know what the extent of the damages are right now because we don't have all the facts. We're putting everybody on notice that we intend to get legal redress for our clients. If in fact we find out that they did more than what it is that they told them in the meeting, then guess what? that $1 million, the whole thing may be in play. If we find out they did a whole lot less, it may go down. Everything is in the nascent stages right now. And again, we're going to follow the evidence and the facts.
Do you know the locations where the cameras were supposedly put up? Have you any idea of how many cameras, how long they were up, specific locations? Were they on telephone poles? Because that's what I've heard.
Mr. Antoine, I'm sorry.
In my understanding, they were placed in front of our homes. So depending on where the camera was, I'll say in front of a pole, because I have a pole across the street from my house.
Okay.
Do you know the information gathered from the surveillance from all of those months?
Again, my understanding is that they gather zero information to prove or substantiate any type of, specious allegations that they use as a basis for the surveillance in the first place. The issue here is that there was absolutely no probable cause. Before any police department or any type of investigative governmental service takes taxpayer resources and targets and basically looks and starts investigating, you have to have a reason. You have to have what's called probable cause. Reasonable basis. There was absolutely no reasonable basis. Zero.
No warrant for a judge?
Zero. Zero. There was no warrant, no reasonable basis. Nobody saw them doing anything illegal. Nothing.
So is that a violation of their civil rights then?
Definitely in some capacity. And again, we're going to basically fine-tune the specifics of the claims based upon the evidence that shows up. Right now, we have the tip of the iceberg right now.
And you don't have to say in this notice where you're suing or exactly what you're going to be suing over.
No.
You just have to let them know you want to sue.
We have to put them on notice that we have enough right now that we have the basis, we expect to have to file a suit.
I want to ask the council members, because as you know, there are going to be people in Forest Park who look at this and say, wait a minute, they represent the city and they're suing the city. I mean, what's the point of doing this? You've got a police chief who's now apologized. He appears to stand by you, a new police chief. You have a new mayor who appears to be on your side here and has apologized. What's the point of moving forward with this?
Let me answer this question. As you well know, this whole process, the reason that they were victimized is political. That's our basis. And you know what? Politics change. They change weekly, monthly. I don't care who's there right now. This could happen again to other city council people if, in fact, the whole system isn't placed on notice. Now, the notion of this taking money out of tax is not. That's why they have insurance policies. Whatever they get paid will come from some third-party company. But there has to be more than just a tacit, I'm sorry in this regard. There's got to be more. And I can tell you right off the bat, it is woefully insufficient for a government to just say, I'm sorry, when we know that this new mayor could be voted out next year. The city manager just got fired yesterday. Whoever's coming in, that person may be worse than the one that left. So it's a fluid situation. And the only thing that is stagnant and immutable are the resources that we have available to us to get accountability and to put them on notice not to do this ever again. I don't care who the mayor is. I don't care what the politics are.
Ms. Wells, going through your trash, how invasive was that to find that out?
It was terrible. I'm like, for one, you didn't have a reason to. What did you think you were going to find if you had been doing it all this time and you didn't find anything? If you had been following me around and you didn't get anything, I don't know.
I understand some of the officers who were surveilling you guys are still on the force. How is it working with those officers in that department?
It's like a slap in the face because our city manager knew months ago when our audit was going on that this guy was involved in this illegal surveillance and he was the IT person of our police department. And she did absolutely nothing about it. Absolutely nothing about it. So when we're in council meetings and he has to get up there and speak in front of us, it's like a slap in my face.
Is that why Ms. Redding is gone now?
No.
And let me say this, okay? There's so much information that is yet to be discovered. And so, as their attorney, I'm not shocked that these people are still working there because we don't know what they did. But we're going to find out. There's going to be a full accountability of the specific people, who did what and when, And if some of those people wind up being a whole lot more involved in this matter than just basically foot soldiers for the police chief, then they're going to be held accountable too.
How many officers are we talking about?
My understanding is 12.
Yes,
Right.
at least 12.
And you mentioned that you feel like it was political, these two being targeted. Do you feel like it was racial as well?
Again, I'm going to speak to the facts. For the majority of the 4 years that they were being under surveillance, they were the only two black council people on council. Now, it just so happens that they were the two city council people on the council that were criticizing the police department too. We're going to follow the facts. And I will say this, if there truly is a racial component to it, that will be part of the claim.
Mr. Antoine, did you have
Sir.
any suspicion this was going on? Any, look at cops following you, anything?
Not concrete, but getting phone calls from my house before I was elected to come down to the police station, coming to my job, asking me for my passport. What do you call that? I mean, I had, you know, suspicions, but not concrete evidence. Yeah.
Who wanted your passport?
Can you explain that without?
Yeah, so as a educator, I get called down to the office that one of the detectives wanted to see me. I didn't want to. I wanted them to come to my house instead, because I work with children, special need kids, and police kids, they don't understand that. So they violated me by coming to my job, and it comes to find out that they wanted to see if I was an American citizen, and it just so happened I carried my passport. Who carries their passport? I just happened to have my passport, and I was like, you know what? Here, I do have my passport. She looked at it. She said, "Well, it looks good as mine," and gave it right back.
This is before you were elected?
This was when I first got elected.
And
No, I take that back. This was before I got elected. Yeah, I wasn't elected.
Ms. Akins-Wells, if you could tell the audience
Yes.
the specific criticisms that you had of the police department in regards to what you perceived as disparities in terms of how they treated Forest Park citizens.
I felt like they targeted black people, and I put it out there. It wasn't a secret. Everyone knew I felt that way. I felt like they targeted people who drove certain cars, and this wasn't just on what citizens were telling me. It was happening to my own family, my brothers, you know. They would leave work and get pulled over by the police saying that they didn't put on the signal, knowing that they put on the signal. It was more blacks, and I would go to the courtroom. I would always go because the employees would tell me things, and I would jot down my notes, and I would want to see these things for myself. So I would go and sit in the courtroom, and you can count on one hand how many whites were there versus blacks. And I started looking into that and asking questions. And so me and Chief Hobbs had a meeting one day, and he asked me, "Latresa, what is it that you have against me? You know, why are you digging into my department like this?" I said, "I don't know you personally to have anything against you. I just don't like how this department is being ran." So he knew that I was looking into certain things. He knew that the employees were talking to me, and not just black employees. These were white employees as well. So he knew this was going on. So I guess it was, well, let me get her before she gets me. You know, that's how I look at it.
Same question, Mr. Antoine.
Sir, so we have what is called pullover Christian Sundays. For those that don't know it, it was a scheme or strategy to target Hispanics. So during Sunday after service, there will be roadblocks on Hispanics, and the goal was, okay, so let's try to get the Hispanics that are illegal here, or try to intimidate churchgoers. So that, and this is concrete proof that we have at the police department. So it's called Pullover Christian Sundays.
Is that your name for it, or is that what they
Yeah.
call it?
That's what we were told.
That the police sanctioned and organized this day for
Tom,
Hispanic.
it's disgusting. I know it.
But that's what we were told. That's what they were doing.
Was there any evidence of that? Because you said there were all black people in the courtroom. Any Hispanics in there as well?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a majority black, but you can count on one hand how many whites were there. You know, and I know the demographics in the city, you know, so that may have something to do with it, but it was other incidences for as people getting, like I said, my own family members getting pulled over. My brother calling me frustrated, like, why are they pulling me over? Why do they keep pulling me over? And so I always had something in the back of my mind, like, are they targeting us, you know, because how is it that my brother just keeps getting pulled over by the police, you know? And they say 3 to 4 years. I think it was longer, because it was actually, I want to say 2017 or 2018, when I was on my way to a council meeting and they pulled me over, and I had to call you to pick me up because I'm like, why are they pulling me over? You know, I haven't done anything. Well, you don't have insurance on your car. Sir, I'm showing you my insurance right here on my phone. He didn't want to look at anything, and they towed my car in. And I had to find a way to the council meeting. I'm like, what are they doing this for? You know, but now it all makes sense. Now it all makes sense.
Let's circle back to Mr. Antoine real quick about that passport. I'm still stuck on that. How did it make you feel that you were getting a citizenship test, checking your status when you had done nothing wrong?
Man, I'm just happy that I happened to have my passport. There was no reason for that. After they called my house, intimidating me, I just felt that if they could call my house, they could come to my house, not to my job. So I felt violated. I mean, you don't come to the school with kids and then want to ask, where's your passport? So I felt violated. I felt that, wow, like something has to be done. And I wasn't even in office, but I knew something has to be done, because if they could do it to just me, I know they're doing it to a lot of other people and people that don't have no voice. And it just,
Let me say this before we end the press conference. I want Ms. Baldwin, she's the president of Clayton County NAACP. She can speak more specifically to some of the complaints that she has heard from the community in regards to the policing practices there in Forest Park. And then we'll go ahead and call it a day.
I want to address specifically.
Get in the middle.
Okay. A couple of things. First of all, Mr. Antoine is a member of NAACP, and our legal redress chair, Ms. Marie Myers, has been looking into the case. We've been looking at it prior to all of this going down. I received a phone call, and this is to attest to what you just said, from a white citizen. He did not want to tell me his name. He says, Ms. Baldwin, I just want to let you know that what they're saying about blacks being pulled over is true. He said he sat at his window and watched as this happens. I asked for his name. Of course, he didn't want to give it to me because he feared for his family. Now, this was a white citizen. Also, in terms of Mr. Dabouze saying this could happen to others, it has happened. It's continuing to happen. I applaud them for being willing to stand up and address this issue, because many people are, as the white man said, afraid to confront Forest Park police at that time. I don't know where it is now, but those are the kinds of complaints that we have received. We've not been able, let me say this, thank goodness the city of Forest Park is taking up the money, because we have numerous cases where people have been violated their civil rights, but guess what? You gotta have an attorney. So for these two elected officials to stand up and stand in the place where others could be standing means a lot to the county.
Thank you. Look, we appreciate you all coming. And again, as you know, I mean, this is a story, it's a local story, but it's got national implications. It really does. And, and we hear about it. We hear it happening in all different states, all different communities. But it's happening 20 miles south of Atlanta. And we're going to address it. And again, thank you all for coming.
Real quick, any
yes.
timeline as to
The way it is that I think we can file suit in 6 months. Right, in 6 months.
Did Antoine have any run-ins with the chief? Did you have any conversations or disputes?
oh no, nothing negative disputes. It was nothing negative.
I mean, the only thing is that he was vocal in the city council meetings, questioning the police department and their tactics. He did do that. Okay, look, thank you all. All right.
thank you.
Thank you.